and welcome. So today we are going to talk about a topic that is not just relevant and popular, and we've been hearing about it and seeing it all over. There's videos and other people, so many other people talking about this, but the ketogenic diet and the reason for it, the purpose, how it benefits us. It's not just a fad diet. It's been around for many, many, many years for very specific reasons, but even before it was studied.
Yes.
That is the way of life. That was the way of life and the way of eating. So Joel joins me today. And so Joel, what can you tell me about the ketogenic diet?
So first, before I get to the ketogenic diet, we have what is called the standard American diet. That's the fad diet. We've been eating like that for 50 to 60 years, and it hasn't gone well. We are suffering now from chronic illness because of that way of eating. Illnesses such as diabetes, hypertension, and even cancer.
Yeah.
So now I'll talk to you about the keto way of eating. So basically, keto diet is just using good fats to fuel our body, because fat is actually a better fuel than sugar is.
And we've said this on several videos where we said fat is not the enemy. We have to learn to choose the right fat.
Correct.
But our body, our brain specifically, is fueled. It needs fats.
Fatty acids, yes. Your brain needs fatty acids for fuel. It also needs glucose, so that's important. But we can get glucose from whole foods. We don't need it from processed foods, because that's the bad fuel. So basically, and I've seen this in clinic now, how powerful this way of eating is. I've seen patients come off their diabetic medications, their hypertensive medications, and just downright feel better, because the reason I like this way of eating is because it's low inflammatory, or basically non-inflammatory, because sugar is actually what inflames.
Right. And we know that inflammation causes all of these other...
All these illnesses. Including cardiovascular disease.
Yeah.
So let's try this again. Fat is not bad for you. Fat does not cause cardiovascular disease, but it's what fats that we're using, and that's the important part. And we have a video about what fats we need to be consuming.
Would I be exaggerating if I said that we can cure diabetes or these cardiovascular diseases by this way of eating? Is that too far-fetched to say?
Nope. And this is the reason why I've seen it in clinic. I've seen it with patients. They have been coming off their medications. These same medications that they've been taking for years. Within about 3 weeks to 3 months, you can come off of some of these medications.
Right. Sometimes we forget that, and I know there's a saying, I'm probably going to butcher it, but we sometimes want to continue doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, right?
So yeah, this is what Albert Einstein once said. The definition of insanity is to repeat the same thing over and over and over and over and expecting a different result. And this is what happened with me. In practice, I was telling patients and giving them advice about nutrition, and it wasn't working. That's when I had to actually look in the mirror and say, maybe what I'm recommending is not the correct way. And that's exactly what happened. So then I started going into more reading in the nutrition, and basically that's where the crux of the problem is. That's where the root of the problem is. We're giving the wrong nutritional advice.
So your lifestyle is basically what can prevent and or provoke these chronic...
Food is medicine.
That is right.
You can't outpale or outrun a bad diet. Food is the medicine. So if you eat the right foods, illness disappears.
Yeah. So, and this isn't just, I kind of want to go back into the fact that it isn't a fat diet. This is something the entire family can kind of be on without you thinking like, oh, I'm going to eliminate all of this. Well, you're eliminating the things that are bad, the things that are going to increase your chances of getting these chronic diseases. But it's not just for adults. It's not just to treat or to cure a disease. It's something that even your children can, start, eating this way of life as well.
Correct. And basically, the ketogenic diet has been used in medicine before. In fact, it has been used to try to treat epileptic seizures.
That's right.
And now we're starting to find that it could be as powerful as also as an anti-cancer way of eating, because cancer cells love sugar.
Well, most viruses and bacteria love a perfect environment, which usually is
sugar laced,
Sweet.
sweet, yeah, sweet. Not only do humans like sugar, but apparently viruses, bacteria,
That's
and
true.
cancer cells love sugar.
Hint, hint, COVID, but that's a topic for another day.
Correct. So, like I said, ketogenic diet is the best way to eat. Basically, ketogenic diet just means eat whole foods, eliminate processed foods. Whatever you can hunt, fish, pick out of the ground, that's real food. That's the way we need to be eating, and not only adults, but kids as well, because unfortunately, a lot of illnesses that we're seeing in kids too, such as ADD, ADHD, hyperactivity, anxiety, even depression, is being linked to processed foods.
That is true, and we've seen such a high number of kids being diagnosed with these,
Conditions,
conditions,
yes.
and they're given medication
Yes.
like Ritalin. I'll just put that out for an example. When as a parent, you can easily change their diet and increase their physical activity, and see probably an immediate change within the week. Even
Absolutely.
within 3 days, you will be able to see that. So it's very, very important that instead of depending or leaning on a medical advice, that you as parents also do your own research and do your own work at home, because only you know what's best for your family.
Correct.
But change this lifestyle, this ketogenic way of life, has such a great impact on children and their development that it would benefit all of you.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the best way. The best way to eat is eating whole foods for your health and for your children's health as well.
And as women, obviously I'm speaking from experience, but this way of life helps all of your hormones, your thyroid, your reproductive hormones. It will stabilize and balance out any woman out there that has experienced PCOS and or endometriosis. And it could be caused for many things, right? But again, we go back to it's an inflammatory
Sugar.
disease. So this can help you
Yes.
prevent, if you're not there yet, but also cure and treat this diagnosis if you have it.
Absolutely.
So the same thing with eczema and psoriasis. Again, it's all inflammatory
All
diseases.
inflammatory. These chronic conditions are all inflammatory. So why not go to a diet that's non-inflammatory?
That is,
And that's the keto diet.
I think that maybe they should label the anti-inflammatory diet and, or lifestyle instead of keto, because the minute we have like a specific label to it, people think like, well, I'm going to stop eating this, or I have to avoid that, or I have to limit this, and so it kind of prevents people from like really taking to it.
Correct.
Then as if it was to be labeled anti-inflammatory, I think people would take to that.
Non-inflammatory diet. So basically, it's really simple. You go to the supermarket, don't shop in the middle. Shop
your
out
surroundings.
Out in the exteriors where you have the whole foods, your vegetables, your meats, your eggs, cheese.
So your perimeter, and avoid the aisles.
Correct.
Anything that's in the aisles, it's been preserved, it has extra ingredients that we don't need. That item is no longer a whole foods item, because it has at least 10 or more ingredients. So anything that has more than 5 ingredients, it's no longer a whole product. So that is processed.
And the problem with that is that in order to have a long shelf life, you have to take out all the minerals, vitamins, and the fiber to have to make it last on the shelf. So that in itself, they take out all the most important things of the food, and it's no longer food.
Yeah, it isn't. It's in a box.
Correct.
It's in a box. So what would be any additional information? We obviously can talk more into depth about the ketogenic diet, and specifically on what sugar does to us and our brain and our body.
Yeah.
But what would you leave the audience with today?
So basically, and I think we shared this in a video, sugar is toxic. Sugar is inflammatory. Sugar causes a lot of chronic illness. So what we try to do with a ketogenic, lay off the sugar, eat good fats, because our body needs them. And this is the way we're starting to heal a lot of these chronic illnesses. And I want the viewers to understand, if you suffer from diabetes, hypertension, even cancer, going to this way of eating may help you with those conditions. And that's what I want the viewers to understand.
I think the takeaway should be that it's actually definitely not going to hurt you. So it's not going to hurt for you to give it a try and see for yourself that it is going to benefit you in the long run.
Correct. And I've seen in clinic time and again, patients that go to this way of eating feel better, have more energy, sleep better. Everything improves because sugar inflames.
That is right. Well, thank you for joining us, and see you here next time.